Hello children, welcome to our science session. Let's continue our chapter 4, materials, metals and non-metals. In the last live session, we have learnt about chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Under that, we have learnt reaction of metals with oxygen, reaction of metals with water, and reaction of metals with acids and bases. And today in this session, we shall be learning about reaction of non-metals with oxygen, water, acids and bases. Before we start our session, let's have a quick recap of uh, the chapter, whatever we have learned in the last session. So in the last session, we have learned what happens when a copper vessel is exposed to moist air for a long time. That is, copper is a metal. When it reacts with moist air for a long period of time, it gets a dull green color coating. That is, when it exposed to moist air, that means it reacts with water content, carbon dioxide and oxygen present in air, and it forms a dull green color appearing coating. What we call that as, it is a mixture of copper hydroxide and copper carbonate. It is similar to that of rusting of iron. When iron exposed to moist air, it reacts with water and oxygen present in the air and it forms iron oxide, which is nothing but we call that as rust. The same way, copper, when it exposed to moist air, it reacts with water, carbon dioxide and oxygen and it forms a mixture of copper hydroxide and copper carbonate, which forms a green color coating on copper vessels. Now, the same way, when magnesium ribbon, when it is heated, for heating oxygen is essential. So when magnesium ribbon is heated in presence of air, it burns for a while with a dazzling flame and we get a white powdery substance, that is nothing but magnesium oxide is formed. So magnesium plus oxygen gives magnesium oxide. So whenever metal reacts with oxygen, it forms oxides of that metal which are basic in nature. The same way we have learned how do metals react with water. Metals, when it reacts with water, they produces metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas will be liberated, isn't it? When sodium and potassium, they react with cold water along the production of large amount of heat. Magnesium, when it reacts with boiling water, it reacts with boiling water, and iron, it reacts with the steam immediately. But in normal room temperature, reaction of iron with water, it is a very slow process. That is, for example, for rusting, it takes place, it will not occur immediately, it takes a longer period of time. So gold, silver and platinum, they do not react with water at all. And if you compare those metals, sodium is a very reactive metal. It vigorously reacts with oxygen and water and it liberates a lot of heat during that reaction. That is why we have to store sodium in the kerosene. Otherwise, if it is kept outside, what will happen? It reacts immediately with oxygen and water. It catches fire. So to prevent that, sodium should be stored in kerosene. Now, let's learn about reaction of non-metals with oxygen, water, acids and bases. When we learn about reaction of non-metals with acids and bases, we will be comparing reaction of metals with acids and bases with non-metals with acids and bases. So now let's start with reaction of non-metals with oxygen. So non-metals react with oxygen. It also forms non-metal oxides, which are acidic in nature. When we learn about metals, metals reacts with oxygen, it forms basic metal oxide. And the same way non-metals when react with oxygen, it form acidic oxide. So most of the non-metals react with oxygen on ignition. That is, if heat is provided, then only it reacts with oxygen. For example, when carbon is burnt, ignition, when it is ignited, for burning, oxygen is essential. It forms carbon dioxide gas. And sulfur, when it is burnt, sulfur plus oxygen, it produces sulfur dioxide gas. So oxides of that non-metal will be formed and they are acidic in nature. The name of the product formed in the reaction of sulfur and oxygen. What is that called as? Sulfur dioxide gas, isn't it? So when sulfur dioxide, when it is dissolved in water, we get sulfurous acid. From the name itself, we indicate it is acidic in nature. How the reaction will be? Sulfur dioxide plus water gives sulfurous acid. And this sulfurous acid, how we will know that the given product, whatever we get is acid? When we check with litmus paper, when you dip that solution, when dip blue litmus paper in that solution, sulfurous acid, we can see that blue litmus paper turns red. So from this we can understand generally oxides of non-metals are acidic in nature. To understand better, let's have an activity. We have to take sulfur that is to be burnt inside a closed container, and we have to check that aqua solution with litmus paper. This is our aim. Now, what can we observe? Observation, the aqueous solution, whatever we get after that reaction, that turns blue litmus red. Now, how did that happen? That is, this activity is similar to that of the activity that is metal oxide rust we have learned in the previous session. Here, instead of metal oxide, here we are using non-metal oxides. So, non-metal oxides, they are electron acceptor. They accept electrons from water or hydroxyl of water, and it forms acidic compound. As a result, the solution becomes acidic and thus it turns the blue litmus red. Here, the burning sulfur, it forms when you take sulfur in a deflagrating spoon, and when it burns and when it is kept in a closed container, and oxygen, sulfur dioxide will be formed, and immediately when this sulfur dioxide, when you add water, it gets dissolved and it forms sulfurous acid. So in this reaction, first sulfur plus oxygen, we get sulfur dioxide gas. When sulfur dioxide gas get dissolved in water, we get sulfurous acid. So when this sulfurous acid, when it is tested with blue litmus paper, we can see blue litmus paper turns red. So from this, we can understand non-metal oxides are acidic in nature. And the fact here is how that acid rain is formed. That is atmospheric sulfur dioxide. When it reacts with water, rainwater, it forms sulfurous acid. Sulfurous acid gets dissolved in water, it forms sulfuric acid. So when it rains, this, what we call that as, along with sulfuric acid, we call it as acid rain. And how the sulfur dioxide reaches the atmosphere? Most of the industrial emission consists of sulfur dioxide. So this presence of sulfur dioxide in the air is common near the industrial areas. Now, let's learn with reaction of non-metals with water. So we have learned reaction of non-metals with oxygen, it forms acidic oxide. Now, reaction of non-metals with water. Generally, non-metals do not react with water, but though they may be very reactive in air. So such non-metals, they are stored in water. For example, phosphorus is a very reactive non-metal. When if it kept open, it catches fire when it exposed to air. So to prevent the contact of phosphorus with atmospheric oxygen, it is stored in water. So the similar way, that is how we have learned before, sodium is a reactive metal. It reacts immediately with moisture and oxygen present in air, and it catches fire. So to prevent that, sodium should be preserved in kerosene. The same way, phosphorus is a reactive non-metal, and it immediately, when it exposed to air, it catches fire. To prevent, but it is no, usually non-metals do not react with water, isn't it? So to prevent the contact of phosphorus with atmospheric oxygen, phosphorus should be stored in water. Now let's see how metals and non-metals react with acids. Usually metals like magnesium, aluminium, iron, and all, they reacts with acid at room temperature, especially it reacts with hydrochloric acid at room temperature, and it emits hydrogen gas, isn't it? And for example, magnesium, it reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid and it gives hydrogen gas. And aluminium, it reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid. The reaction will be rapid and it releases hydrogen gas. And iron filings also the same. But copper, it do not react with hydrochloric acid at room temperature. So there will be no reaction when copper is reacted with, when we put copper in dilute hydrochloric acid. The same way, dilute sulfuric acid also, it will not react. So magnesium react with dilute hydrochloric acid as well as dilute sulfuric acid, and it liberates hydrogen gas. Same as of aluminium and iron. But copper, they do not react with dilute hydrochloric acid and dilute sulfuric acid. So there will be no reaction. And what about that non-metals? Non-metals like charcoal powder, sulfur and all, they do not react with acids. So non-metals, they do not react with acids. There will be no reaction with acids. Thus, we found that non-metals generally do not react with acids, but metals react with acids and it produce hydrogen gas. Now, how that liberated gas is hydrogen? What is a confirmatory test of hydrogen? We have learned that when you keep that burning matchstick near that mouth of the test tube, the pop sound indicates the presence of hydrogen. But we have also noticed that copper does not react with dilute hydrochloric acid even on heating, but it reacts with concentrated sulfuric acid. Children, now coming to how do metals and non-metals react with bases? Some metals like aluminium, lead, zinc and all, they react with strong bases like sodium hydroxide, and also it also liberates hydrogen gas. But non-metals, they do not react with bases, but sometimes non-metals, they produces complex reaction when it reacts with bases. So children, in this session, we have learned on burning, metals react with oxygen to produce metal oxide, which are basic in nature. Non-metals, they react with oxygen to produce non-metallic oxide, which are acidic in nature. And metals react with water to produce metal hydroxide and liberate hydrogen gas. But generally, non-metals do not react with water. The same way, metals react with acid and produce metal salt and hydrogen gas. Generally, non-metals do not react with acids. Some metals, they react with bases to produce hydrogen gas, but reaction of non-metals with bases are very complex. That's all for this session.